It's Britney, bitch.
If there was a genre of gaming that I could describe as anxiety-inducing, then that genre for me would be racing games.
I don't know what it is about them, but my heart is constantly pumping whenever I'm racing against other players or AI, which is funny because I grew up playing games like Need for Speed Most Wanted. I'm also not that into cars, so racing games aren't usually my go-to anyway. But kart racers!
Now that's one way to get my attention. I don't know what it is about a unique, colorful cast of characters gripping their hands behind the wheel, but it just does something for me.
There's a reason why everyone and their mother jumps for joy whenever Mario Kart is on the screen. In celebration of the upcoming Mario Kart World, I thought it'd be fun to look at all the kart racers before it, to see how the genre has evolved over the years. I mean, with every road comes an eventual speed bump, right?
Right?
How's it going, nation? Welcome to PlayStacin, and this is the chaotic world of kart racing.
You see what I did there, right? Let's start with the one that started it all.
Power Trip by Sega. Yeah, I was shocked about this one, as I always believed that Super Mario Kart was the one that started it all, but it turns out that Sega beat him to it back in 1988 back in ye old-fashioned arcade halls.
I was not alive then.
The game featured a unique cast of characters to choose from, and had the typical arcade scoring system that's technically still around to this day. Players who ranked 4th and up were still able to continue onto the next race. According to history,
Wikipedia,
each track had a roller coaster type feel to it, as a lot of the tracks featured high climbs and free falls, and thanks to the arcade cabinet having a raised hydraulic platform, the game would tilt and shake quite violently. The game even went on to be Japan's second most successful arcade game.
for the month. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about this one, so we're just gonna move on to Mario Kart.
Super Mario Kart, the one that started it all. Released back in 1992 on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, had Super Mario and friends racing along creative courses filled to the brim with what I could imagine was peak gaming.
I was not alive.
But I could believe it. The game was chock full of content for players to play with. It had Grand Prix mode, which allowed players to race in 5 different courses. Time trial mode, which is self-explanatory. It allows players to race against the clock to see who could get through the track the fastest. Match race, which allows up to 2 players to go head-to-head on any course they'd like without the interference of AI. And finally, Battle Mode, an arcade mode where players can duke it out with various items in a small arena. These 4 modes became the golden standard for all kart racers to come. If your game didn't have Battle Mode, then what was it all for? Mario Kart grew so popular that Nintendo evolved it into a system staple, assuring that every new system Nintendo released came with a shiny new copy of Mario Kart, each new installment growing in track size, character size, and sometimes content size.
Nintendo wasn't a popular console in my household, so I never really had much experience with Mario.
The only time I ever had a chance to play it was whenever I went to a friend's house.
Which was never, because I didn't have friends.
Or if my TV production teacher decided to bring it in one of his annual game days. I grew up with PlayStation, so you could probably assume what was my first kart racer. Crash Team Racing!
I was 3 years old.
My childhood consisted of the Crash Bandicoot franchise. In fact, whenever I wasn't playing Kingdom Hearts 1, I was either playing Crash 3 or Crash Team Racing. CTR was my go-to kart racer at the time, as I believe it had a really unique cast of characters, unique level design, as I had never seen racetracks like it before. And to shock everybody, it had a story mode. Kart racers typically don't get a story mode. It's usually just a Grand Prix mode for you to compete in different courses. But story mode, that's a game changer. Nitrous Oxide, an alien from the planet Gasmoxia, has arrived on planet Earth and has challenged the denizens of the world to the most dangerous race of their lives. The chosen racer must collect 16 trophies to prove to Oxide that you are indeed the fastest so that you can compete in Oxide's challenge. If you win, you beat the game. If you lose,
I will turn your entire globe into a concrete parking lot and make you my minions.
clearly it's high stakes. To make things better, the story mode isn't stuck with the level-to-level menu, but instead follows the formula that the original Crash trilogy set up. You drive within one big hub world divided into different zones, sort of like an open world, and each zone contains 4 races for you to compete in. After winning each respective race, you must race against that zone's dedicated boss. It's unique and is something you really don't see even in kart racers released today. The way the story goes, Naughty Dog was ready to work on their next big IP, but were required to make one last game under Universal's belt. They decided to make a kart racer and had very little faith in it. They believed that an alien challenging the characters to a race was a little lackluster, and didn't have much faith in the project. Even still, the developers didn't want to release a bad product. They put time and effort into the game, as they programmed a specific mechanic that changed the genre forever, and is something that kart racers have come to add with every release, and that is the boost mechanic. When drifting, you'll notice your tires glowing a specific color. Depending on when you let go of your drift will determine the boost you get when you let go. There's the Sacred Red boost that gives you a short medium boost that's pretty standard when drifting, and then there's the Sacred Blue Fire boost that gives you an incredible speed boost. This especially helps when going over specific boost ramps. This tiny feature changed the genre for the better, and even became a part of discussion. Which kart racer is better, Mario or Crash? But what else is there to do? Just like the kart racer that inspired it, there are also different modes that you could play around with. There's Battle Mode, where you play in a dedicated arena and use various items to gather points. There's Time Trial Mode, where you can collect time boxes in order to slow down the clock and get a good time. There's Entropy's Ghost Times, where you must beat a specific time requirement in order to unlock Entropy as a racer. You better believe that I was ecstatic when Activision announced that they were going to be remaking this game for the PlayStation 4. As you can tell, I've been using footage from Nitro Fueled, the remake of the game that Beanox worked hard on, and you can tell. Not only did they recreate every course from the original game, they also included tracks from CTR's successor, Crash Nitro Kart, as well as brand new never-before-seen tracks based on different characters and games from the franchise. They even went as far as to bring a Spyro the Dragon dedicated track to the game, as well as Spyro, Hunter, and Nasty Nork as playable characters. To make things better, every update for this game was free. Sure, the online shop made things like customization unbearable, but there was a way you could earn every single skin and customizable in-game if you did enough races. I don't even like online mode in video games, but you best know I duked it out on the online track a few times. It's a shame that content ended for this game. It's also a shame that they turned Crash Team Racing and the Crash Team Rumble and smeared the good name of CTR.
It's time to start your engines. It's time to cross the line. It's time to line your carts, cause the Muppets race tonight.
Boy, howdy is this game good, and completely evolves the genre from what CTR did. Muppet Race Mania is a kart racing gauntlet that's based off the various films within the MCU.
The Muppet Cinematic Universe.
Each movie has 5 respective tracks to choose from, and once you complete that level's race, you get to explore the track and search for collectibles and unlockable racers. This is unheard of, and I've yet to see something like it since.
I feel like I'm the only one who remembers this game.
It takes an incredible roster of characters to make a great kart racer. I mean, it's how Mario and Crash were successful in their racing debut. Each franchise has a unique cast of characters to choose from that players would actually want to play as, and the Muppets are no different. I strongly believe that this game's character selection screen is the most unique Select a Racer screen I've ever seen, as it depicts the classic Muppet intro where all the characters line up for the show. They even have the original voices returned to voice these characters. It's not some lame cash grab where they're only banking on recognition alone. Nick. To my understanding, even Mario Kart hasn't gone this far when it comes to content. It's more streamlined, but Muppets Race Mania doesn't play like most kart racers. In true Muppet fashion, it's pure chaos. The controls are loose and feels like the screws are about to fall off the cart, and that's what makes this game chaotically fun. Sure, it can make some platforming feel rough. But once you figure it out, it's smooth sailing. This game, Sly Cooper, and Fairly Odd Parents Breaking the Rules are probably the last 3 games from my childhood that I desperately need a remake of, or even just a port to modern hardware, then I could die happy. This is the part of the show where I talk about games that aren't kart racers, that have kart racing in it. That's how much power Mario has. In true Square Enix fashion, Square saw the money in the genre and wanted to pay tribute to it in some way. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep introduced Rumble Racing, where you could race against Disney characters within the world of Disney Town. There's only 4 tracks to choose from, and the only unique track is the one based off Disney Castle. I mean, they went all out on that track. Now, I'm not the biggest BBS fan, but one thing I did really enjoy about it is that Rumble Racing really helps us see Disney Castle / Disney Town as a much bigger entity than what we typically see in the series. The only downside is that you can only play as Terra, Ventus, or Aqua, while the other racers are typically made up of the same characters, Huey, Dewey, Louie, and Pete. Still, it's a fine minigame. Now, Chocobo Racing from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, now that's a different beast entirely. There are 22 different tracks to choose from when Chocobo Racing, and the majority of them are pretty unique. The more tracks you unlock, the bigger they get, and the more aggressive the enemy racers become. I think I spent a few hours grinding these tracks, and it's not lazily made either. There's actual drift mechanics. You have to actually think before using an item, and you need to be aware of all of your surroundings, or you may fall behind. While you can't play as different characters, you can at least customize your Chocobo, and each customization comes with perks and downsides. Is Jack X Combat Racing a kart racer? I mean, it follows all the rules of one. Unique cast of characters, unique tracks to choose from, various different game modes for the players to compete in-game shop for customizations. It even has a story with stakes, which is an added bonus. I'm gonna let you decide. The missions from Jak 2, though, are definitely kart racers. Those 2 Murray missions from Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus can be classified as a kart racer gimmick. The only thing it doesn't have is a way for me to knock the other drivers in the next Tuesday. Now, back to your scheduled programming. Alright, it's time to talk about the big dog. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The Mario Kart that defined 2 generations.
I'm serious, it defined 2 generations.
Mario Kart 8 originally released on the Wii U back in 2014 and did surprisingly well, despite being limited to the failure that was the Wii U. It wasn't until 2017 when Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was released, and believe me, it was a deluxe for sure. 8 Deluxe defined the Switch generation and has pretty much acted as the definitive Mario Kart experience for the last 8 years. And if you want to be technical, has been the longest running Mario Kart if you want to include its pre-Final Mix version from 2014, making it 11 years of straight Mario Kart 8. That's a long time for a single Mario game. Yeah, technically we got Mario Kart Tour, but that was limited as a mobile game and isn't seen as a true sequel to many. Mario Kart 8 is the gauntlet of Mario Kart games and is known as the Smash Bros. Ultimate of kart racing. I mean, everyone is here. It has the biggest character roster up to date, including special guest characters like Link from The Legend of Zelda, Isabella from Animal Crossing, and an Inkling from Splatoon. Almost every fan favorite track from previous installments were brought back and revamped in new creative ways to almost make the track feel brand new. Hell, they even copied a few notes from Nitro Fueled and introduced some new tracks later down the line, as well as recreating tracks from Mario Kart Tour, as well as even adding more characters to the already massive lineup. This game has it all and really set the pace for what a good kart racer should be. Hell, why do you think Crash went the Rumble instead? It's no secret that Nintendo knows what they're doing when it comes to game design. While they're behind other companies in the graphics department, they excel at pushing their games to their hardware's limit. It's why all their games are, well, good.
Remember when I said every kart racer requires a unique cast of characters? Well, Nickelodeon decided to enter that race 3 times.
Nickelodeon Kart Racers, the franchise that keeps going. During Mario Kart 8's 8-year reign, Nickelodeon wanted to put their characters to the test, and see how far they could go. The first game released back in 2018, and boy could you tell that this wasn't gonna go anywhere. This game has PS1 vibes. With its small cast of characters, its not so creative course design, its sluggish controls, and its not so fun music to listen to. I mean, when you think Nickelodeon, you think SpongeBob SquarePants, Jimmy Neutron, Fairly Odd Parents, and so on. Here are the characters that you get to choose from. SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, Arnold, Helga, Angelica, Tommy, Reptar, and the 4 Ninja Turtles. That's it.
Yup. Well, slap my knee and call me Marty McFly, because that shit don't make any sense.
My God, what were you thinking? Imagine little Tommy,
Not Rugrats Tommy,
spending a whole year playing Mario Kart 8. It shook you to your core that you want to try out newer kart racers and you see mother flippin' SpongeBob on the cover busting a wheelie and you get this monstrosity. I'd rather get my ass beat by the 2 cops from SpongeBob.
Now let's get that one!
I'd rather listen to Angelica's bitch ass whine for 5 hours straight than play this game. I'd rather watch a full season of Glenn Martin DDS than play this game. It's a shame, because I guess we'll never see the potential of a Nickelodeon-themed kart racer.
What? They made a sequel?
Nickelodeon Kart Racers 2 Grand Prix, the long-awaited sequel that everyone begged for and released 2 years after the original.
Let's see how that goes.
Holy shit! They fixed it! Game Mill made an actual decent kart racer with an actual roster and unique course design. They went from this to this! They've added Danny Phantom, Cat Dog, Invader Zim, Rocco's Modern Life, Avatar The Last Airbender, and even JoJo Siwa for some reason. But for real, this game is an actual improvement, and honestly, with the 2-year difference, I personally would have waited for this because it actually plays like Mario Kart. They even added this game mode and added a perk system that makes every driver's playstyle actually unique. I honestly have no clue where they can go from here. This is probably the definitive Nickelodeon.
What? They made another one?
Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 Slime Speedway is the 3rd installment of the series and goes even further to improve the fundamentals set from the previous installment. I mean, they really went all out. They brought back tracks from the previous game, completely reimagined to match modern hardware standards. They even added more characters to play with from a wide abundance of shows, including My Life as a Teenage Robot and Garfield. They even added voice acting to make the characters feel even more alive. This game is the complete package, and honestly, I couldn't ask for more. They even managed to perfect the Sacred Blue Fire mechanic from Crash Team Racing and brought it up to industry standards. It's funny because all 3 games are developed by the same studio, and you get a complete time-lapse of how they improved with each installment. They even went on to make another kart racer, this time with DreamWorks characters, and it works completely the same way. It's almost enough to make a grown man cry. Okay, it's time to talk about it now. This year, we are set to receive 2 evolved kart racers from 2 beloved franchises. In just a couple of days or hours, we're set to get Mario Kart World, which is an absolute evolution of the franchise and is set up to work as the first open world kart racer. Not open zone like CTR, but everywhere that you can see, you can drive. They've even gone as far as during the Grand Prix Cups, after you finish a race, you need to actually drive to the next course, which is interesting. I know a lot of people aren't exactly thrilled about this. They're kind of hoping for the more traditional Grand Prix mode, but honestly, this feels like a proper step in kart racing game design. By doing so, you really learn the ins and outs of the area and can probably prepare for the actual race ahead. The new Knockout Tour mode is also interesting and really encourages competitive play. Not only does it test your mastery of a course, but to other players, as if you don't make it to a certain checkpoint in time, you're out of the race. The tracks also look tons of fun too, but that's pretty much it. I'm mostly intrigued by the open world concept, as there are a lot of things that can make or break it. If the world only acts as set dressing with nothing much to do, then adding it would really make it a waste of time. This new feature is most likely why Mario Kart World is set at the $80 price tag. Nintendo has gone on record to say that they'll be pricing their games based on the quality of the game, but are also pricing some of their newer titles as pretty traditional price margins. Like personally, Donkey Kong Bonanza looks more groundbreaking than Mario Kart World, and that's priced at $69.99. As for Team Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, I'm actually pretty stoked about this. Personally, I never understood the reason as to why Sonic needs to drive a car, but it's fun to think about. Cross Worlds' unique gimmick is that whoever is in first place will choose how the track evolves throughout the race, kind of mixing the lore of how the rings work from the Sonic movies and turning it into how the track will play out. If done right, every single online match could actually play unique and give every possible player the chance at winning the gold. It's clear to me that kart racers are always going to be a thing. However, the quality of them will always vary. You would think that with games like Mario Kart 8 and Crash Team Racing, studios would try harder to replicate the working formula. Disney and Nickelodeon are certainly trying to make creative strides, but there's only so many games Game Mill can make before I want to shoot myself. But what do you guys think? What is your dream kart racer? All you have to do is post down in the comment section below on which IP you'd like to see turned into a kart racer. Post down in the comment section below for a chance to see that comment in the next video, and until next time, have a sumptuous day until our next communion.